One from Autocross, anyone noting where we might find that or there? Actually driving around to make sure that they can actually give them a chance to get back.
I guess all you can do is just get comfortable with the radio just to chat with me. I can't hear anyone else.
On the other side.
Yeah.
Yeah, all the.
What are you looking for? 27. Strippers.
Yeah, are there any teams lined up? No teams at all. Awesome. Yeah. Let's go!
And it appears that the University of New South Wales have managed to get their car ready to get out on track now. So we'll all wait with bated breath to see if this car can get underway, and if it does, what kind of performance they have in store. A slow start, it's moved, and the University of Sydney is underway.
All right, that's the University of
New
New
South
South
Wales,
Wales.
Sydney. There's the University of New South Wales Canberra here as well this weekend. So
Oh, really?
yeah, that's the ADFA team. So just trying to denote the correct university name there. But they've got around the first corner. Looks like it might have had a slight issue there. But as I said before, regardless, getting this car to the start line and getting out there, I think is an amazing achievement. So yeah, if you can get this thing going, that'll be amazing. But still deserve a huge congratulations to this team.
The number of hours put in that car would be astronomical, and so just to see it die after one corner, that was rough. That was rough. I guess to me personally, and like thinking about this year and what this team's capable of and the situations we've been in, I think come back better.
Welcome back, everyone. Happy New Year's. Welcome to Redback 2023. Very exciting. I'm really not surprised. We've started off with a bit of niche footing with our changed kind of setting for this year. Kind of keeps it fun. Also, it's kind of personal having you all gathered. So today's agenda, we have a lot to get through. We compete in the FSAE-Australasia Competition, which is the Australasian branch of FSAE. We get sent, or we abide by the FSAE rules generally, which are the international rules. And then Australasia has an addendum that we follow that just fits our guidelines here. It is the largest engineering competition or student competition in the world, which is really, really cool to say that you've been a part of that or competed, I guess, even once.
After a bit of a performance breakdown based on previous comp years, we know roughly to get in the top 5 on average, we need around 750 points. Now, top 5 after 14th might seem like a pretty lofty goal, but it's the hope that it's a motivating North Star, so that's what we're aiming for, but it's also quite attainable. For instance, Wollongong got around that, about 718, but they didn't even compete in acceleration, and we outperformed them in static events. So if we can put together a well-polished, comprehensive package and complete all the events, there's no reason why we can't do that. If we want to get the points we need in dynamic events, we need to produce a car that's capable of the 0.95G longitudinal acceleration, 1.4G lateral and 1.5G braking, and reliably complete all events. We'll take questions later. The best way to motivate a team, in my opinion, is to set that lofty goal, that North Star to follow, that big target you're aiming for. And so for this year, really, it was a way of getting the team back on track and getting the team moving in the right direction is by setting that ambitious target for the year. And so yeah, we set out to build a very fast car in a very fast amount of time.
You can tell when you see a leader, people want to follow them. If you meet a leader that you don't want to follow, then they're not a leader. And I think our executive team this year are people that everyone wants to follow. Everyone respects, everyone wants to follow what they want to do.
Yeah, very keen for this year. There's a lot of work to be done to get started. But the more work you do in the holidays, the easier it'll be once you go back to uni as well. So thank you all. That's it.
One of the big challenges we had to overcome this year is that the team's all fresh. Even our department leads have never been through a design cycle before this year. There's only a handful of us in the team that have been in, long enough to have designed another car. And so a lot of things had to start from scratch, and a lot of people learn as they go. Congratulations, everyone, on making tech leads. Well done. I'm really excited to work with all of you this year. I think this is going to be a pretty crack team. I reckon we should be able to build a damn fast race car and have some fun doing it. So I'm looking forward to it. Basically, I've kind of already outlined the plan for the rest of today, right? So we'll just have a quick chat now, answer any questions or anything.
If I could describe Redback in 3 words: design, build, race. We knew coming out of last year that we needed to start design early and have a really good structure and system in place.
One thing we did this year that we've never really done before is we did a lot of point simulation and a lot of analysis of how the actual competition scoring works at the start of the year. And so we came up with essentially our priorities for improving the car.
Historically, you would do a comparison between, okay, why are we choosing to do a space frame over a monocoque? Why are we choosing a certain elect package over others? Why are we running with the MRAX 228 over a different motor? These were all decisions that we didn't have to justify because the team were already well aware, and also we had no other choice.
We're engineers, and what we do is we solve problems given constraints. And so from the get-go, we knew that we were going to be a broke team. We knew that we were going to build a part spin special, and it really came down to all of us just chipping in mentally and emotionally to say that we're going to do the absolute best that we can.
For this year's car, we really focused on like having a relatively simple package. And so, we simplified down the suspension compared to last year. We shaved some weight out. We sort of took some of the frivolous features away, but then we really doubled down on, I guess, lowering like center of gravity, losing some weight, upping the downforce.
There was so much that we learned from 21, and this was also our current team's first time designing an electric car. None of them had had experience doing that with our previous vehicle, so we kind of wanted to make sure that we had heaps of time on our hands for that.
Really, the year was split up into 3 parts. So first, in the design portion of the year, we started out with requirements analysis. So our design task 1, if you will, was requirements analysis based both off of like the rules requirements, functional requirements, so like use cases and things like that, and also performance targets. And then we launched into detailed design. So we did everything ground up on the car, was redesigned for this year.
In terms of the construction of the bodywork, we wanted to move away from 3 layers of carbon twill and into a spread toe exterior with a 2mm core mat and then the fiberglass.
What about firewall? What have we done so far for firewall?
Is it going to be a single piece?
It doesn't need to be removable either, so
Okay.
it's free for change.
Where the rims currently contact the control arms is at the rear, because like the inside wheel turns sharper. So if you just bring that point forward a bit, we'll gain a couple degrees of steering angle.
Yeah, so we have more steering angle, and with the steering gearbox, we'll probably get faster steering ratio. So these are the main changes coming to the front.
So I just recycled the stock CAD drawing from last year's, and the AIP is just like a 4mm alloy plate.
Is it this one?
Okay, yep.
Yeah. Then I just need to start looking at radiator sizing for our heat rejection of, I think it's 3 kilowatts.
How's it going to be installed and how's it going to be adjusted?
Great question.
I think we can all agree that we have a hell of a long way left to go on designing this car. And the March 18 design review, pretty sure that's the end of week 5, right? So I already know that all of us, we're going to get to week 5 and we're going to be absolutely under the pump with assignments. So what I need you all to do is to counteract that and work hard from right now so that you can leave yourself space for uni when it comes up. Our main priority was like, all right, we've got to get this done from scratch in 1 year with testing time as well, because we've found out over the years that testing time is by far the biggest determinant of comp performance. So yeah, the priorities were to keep it simple, but make sure we did it right and really think out everything we did and do the due diligence. So yeah, that was the philosophy.
Chassis specifically, I did not design it. I have a very wonderful engineer. Her name is Kaylee, and she was the chassis designer. And basically, we started off with the team's motto, basically keep it simple, do it right. So we didn't really want to make many big changes.
Honestly, it went by pretty quickly. It went by really quick. Yeah. Like DT1 was supposed to be quite long, and in the end, it flew past. DT2 was even quicker. We got 3 months to design stuff, and then 2 months later,
2 months later, you're like,
oh, there's a month left.
Oh, car's not designed yet.
Yeah.
So my department is basically the software department of the team. We just make sure that all the data across the team is being transferred, in a way that is easy for everyone to access. And if we need to change anything or update anything or maintain anything, that's where my team comes in. So very much the primary technical support team for the Greater Redback Racing team.
I would say we upskilled and we made an ergonomics rig. So it was modular, meaning for each driver we would adjust everything, the seat position to the steering angle to the pedal box position. We would adjust all of those so that depending on which driver it was, it would fit to them. And then from that we took basically like an average and implemented that into the chassis design.
There's a fine balance at the beginning of the year, I think, where you run into a problem and you think, oh, I have the whole rest of the year, or like, oh, it's still only like March, like that's fine. But that's not the case at all. Like a day in March is the same length as a day in November. Like it's time is time, and we need to make sure that we're being proactive in finding a solution, because at the end of the day, like we are students and we are going to make mistakes. You're never, ever, ever going to avoid that.
The designs have been sent off, the tubes are getting laser cut. That's all set in stone. And then I realized something surrounding the steering wasn't rules legal, so we wouldn't pass one of the template tests. So to fix that, I had to change my kinematic points. And I think I started the design. I think I started doing the calculations probably about 9 p.m. I finished at like 3 or 4 a.m. Yeah, it was probably the hardest thing I've ever done, just because I couldn't change anything else other than my own system. And I can't ring Kaylee and be like, hey, can I change the frame? It's like, no. So that was a real low light. It really took it out of me.
We had to reorder and re-laser cut our tubes for the chassis because I did a big mistake and I did not check those tubes properly. So during the design phase, you have to basically notch all the tubes so they fit together properly, and we send them off to a third party for them to get laser cut. And what I didn't check was every single one of the, there's like 60 something tubes on the chassis. I did not check all of them. I think I checked the first 3. I thought, they're good. I trust my engineer. I'll send them off. And then they came, we started welding. The tubes weren't right. Yeah.
The sooner we design things, the sooner we can manufacture them, the sooner we can get a running car. And if there's one thing that Redback has discovered over the years, is that the more testing we can do, it directly correlates with more comp points.
Manufacturing did and did not go to plan.
One big difference between what we did this year and what we've done in the past is we did a lot more of concurrent manufacturing. And so that was much more management heavy, a bit heavier workload on like the leadership team. So for instance, like we were making the loom before we even had the chassis tubes notched. Because I guess we just had to put a bit of faith in our design ability and just trust that things were going to fit.
Don't go too tight, like how I kill and shoot. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Welding this year actually went terrific. I don't know if you're familiar with last year, but the jig last year was wooden, so it wasn't very accurate, and the final chassis came out to be maybe like 5 mils off. But this year we've managed to source Denmiller jigs. They're very, very expensive, very, very heavy, but that means they're really good. And yeah, the end result was that it was only inaccurate for like 2 to 3 mils, which is kind of crazy.
So Alec integration and getting our accumulator done, which was the work of Alec and EVMech, was a lot. We knew from the beginning of the year that it would be a big hurdle because it was the first time that our current team had designed an electric car.
This is our first segment test build, and it's a live segment.
Yeah.
Seems like everything fits.
It is student design, so I'm not coming in and going, oh, this is what you need to do, I'll help out, but they're the ones doing the design, which is the amazing thing about this initiative. And from the safety side of thing, yeah, I'm there to make sure no one gets hurt, but also to try and instill good safety practices into the students.
So this is a PDM, this is like power distribution module, controls like where the power goes essentially. And this is on backwards, which means it can't go on the mount. So here's a new one. It also looks a lot cleaner, it's really cute. It's got these little bears. These boards are called Tiny Teddies, and they've all got teddies on them, which is really cute. And then this is a collection of teddies, so it's called the Hog, which is what a group of bears is called. And apparently Jeff said that this is them waving to the power going in and out.
UNSW and the School of Mechanical and Manufacturing Engineering have been incredibly good to us. They've really supported us coming out of COVID and sort of getting back on our feet and entering the EV space.
Another thing that we really wanted to focus on was the makerspaces here at uni. There's so many amazing resources here that students have access to, both in your degree and also like in Redback. And we wouldn't be able to build a car without DFL and Kirby and all of these lovely spaces in a LEC makerspace. We need the resources they have essentially, but they also want to help us, which is really great.
It's been a really team effort coming from, I guess, the School of Mechanical Manufacturing, the Faculty of Engineering, School of Electrical, School of Computer Science. It's all really worked together and really helped us get to where we are now. I think since the start of the year as well, I was very conscious to set very aggressive deadlines, which I think some of the team were a bit, oh, why are we aiming to do this so early? But the reason being is that, in my mind at least, if we set like more aggressive deadlines, things inevitably go wrong, things inevitably go over time and over budget. Things need rework, always. That's always the case. And so if you try and stack everything towards the start of the year, leave you as much wiggle room as possible, when you assemble something and it inevitably doesn't work the first time, you've got that backup time to fix it. Tolerances are a little bit too tight.
We've got to switch the valve from the inside to the outside. So right now I'm just making a new hole, and then we've got to take that valve out and then patch it back up again.
No, it never finishes. It's just like a self-replenishing task. Every time you finish it, you create more work for yourself somehow.
That's just Redback.
Exactly.
Our party house is nearing completion, like Alex said before. That is the correct name for it, in case you guys are wondering.
It's been a stressful couple of weeks. All my hair fell out.
In terms of our components, they're all finished and all their mounts are also welded onto the chassis. And all mounts for all components from all departments have also been welded on. So thank you to Jack, Kalimbu and Rich for sacrificing all their time.
Everyone, ready? 3, 2, 1. Easy done.
Yeah, started the wiring loom ahead of time. We made jigs for everything. We, made sure that everything could be made at the same time and then fit together nicely at the end, which thankfully did happen. Everything sort of slotted together like a nice, very big, very complicated Lego set.
Launch night so far has been my biggest highlight from the entire year. It was amazing. The team was so well organised. Looking back at like our team photo, we all look so professional.
Firstly, I want to say a massive thank you to everyone that's shown up tonight to support us as a team. It's really heartwarming to see all of the friendly faces here.
Launch night was an excellent opportunity to kind of put our name out there, to be like, hey, this is what we're working on and this is where we're headed. We'd love your help.
We knew that coming into this year we had a lot to improve on, and our team goal this year was keep it simple and do it right, which meant that we had a lot to learn on the very basics and we wanted to nail that on the head and really do well. And we have 110,000% done that this year.
And I know you've been working very hard on basically essentially shoestring budget. But I was just talking to your treasurer and he said he doesn't need more money. So that's really good. But anyways, our incoming dean is here, so hopefully next year you have a bit more money.
This year we've built RB23, obviously, our new electric Challenger. So that car was built from the ground up this year. But then we've also built RB21D. And so a lot of the mechanical side of RB21D was done last year. It's essentially our old EV, but reborn as a autonomous vehicle. It would have been a much more, I guess, simple plug-and-play port to an AV, except we had some issues with the high-voltage battery at the start of the year. And so this year, not only have we built one electrical system from scratch, but we've had to do it twice.
This is, I think, a historic moment for the team. This is our first autonomous vehicle that will be competing at comp. Driverless as a team, as a system, has been around for the last 4 years. Specifically, our alumni will be happy to hear that some of the thesis work since 2020 has been implemented on this car itself.
And so now we'd like to unveil 23, so we'll play the video and then we'll unveil the car.
We'll all wait with bated breath to see if this car can get underway, and if it does, what kind of performance they have in store.
I hadn't seen the video before this, so excuse me if I'm a bit emotional. It's a big day. It's a big day. As you've already heard multiple times tonight, last year was a big year for us. It was our first foray into the EV category, first dip of our toe in the water. It was a massive learning experience for us. We had our fair share of challenges, we had our fair share of triumphs. But as the man up on the screen told you, the goal for this year really was to come back better.
last year's car was, like I said, that first foray. This year's car is, in my mind at least, a statement of intent. You know, we're not here just to participate, we're here to compete. There's been so much love and care and dedication put into this car, and without that we couldn't have done what we've done. In the space of this last year, not only have we done what we haven't done since 2018, in designing and building a car solely in 1 year, but we've also done what we've never done before. We've done it with an EV. So to go from the 2 years we spent designing and building and testing RB21 to now having done this in only 9 months, that is an incredible feat.
Just amazing work. So I'm really excited to see what comes of the team in the following weeks. I'll hopefully be able to see maybe their first track day. Yeah, but honestly, I'm just really proud of the team. It's amazing to see what they've done.
And I think here at the university they're a bit tight for space, and we've got a whole Quickstep Learning Academy, a big learning room and a big workshop, and so the team was able to come to Quickstep, spread out, make all their bits. We were able to give a little bit of technical advice, but that team was fantastic, really switched on, pumped out some fantastic, what they tell us is their best aerodynamics package ever, which I believe looking at it, and we at Quickstep are really excited about being part of it, supporting the team.
It's just an amazing opportunity to be able to show off all of our hard work and the team's amazing dedication and attention to detail for an entire year. It's really nice to just see the support that we get. We couldn't do this without, you know, everyone that's joined us here tonight, whether that be faculty and academics or sponsors and supporters and alumni. It's all been incredibly valuable.
I am so happy. The night has gone so well. Everyone has said like the evening has gone amazing and they're so impressed with the team, which is just all you want, right? We've had a really good show from all of our supporters and our sponsors and our UNSW like community and our alumni. So I'm buzzing. Like this night could not have gone better.
They are just absolutely amazing, and very, very happy to see so much has been done by the student team. And I was talking to some of the students, they spend tens of hours every day. That's insane, the amount of work.
Yeah, okay. Have you guys done any
Some of the comments made by alumni and guests that night were really quite heartening. Being told that, oh, this is the most complete we've ever seen a car at launch night, best looking car we've ever had, most well thought out, all these things where they came in and saw the decisions were made and what we've done.
We got so much positive feedback from sponsors, from staff, from faculty. It was slightly overwhelming. I remember the 2 days after launch night especially, we had just received so much positive feedback, and we had just been commended on all of our efforts this year to such a point that it was kind of overwhelming. There were only good things to be said about our members, about what we're doing, about how far we've come.
Launch night was a bit of a warning shot to everyone else. We're here and we're ready to play.
I would really hope if our team did really well, but seeing other universities and their launch videos, I'm a bit scared.
Part of me is okay, the year has already been done well. There's no way that we don't perform well at comp this year. But yeah.
I really hope we get top 5.
Bring it on. Comp's going to be so good. Yeah, it's going to be absolutely amazing. I'm so keen. Game plan is how hungry or coffee requiring are you?
Yes.
We are leaving. It's currently 5:04 in the morning, and we're leaving to go to our first stop, which is Macca's, about a kilometre down the road. And then we're on our way to Goulburn. Let's go. See you in Melbourne.
Redback for me is, I think, easily the biggest and best thing I've done at uni.
Oh, we could be here for days talking about the benefits of joining Redback.
Being in Redback is so important to me. I feel like it's a place where I can marry my technical ambitions but also my creative ambitions.
It's, what I love doing. I love motorsport still. I love cars. I love engineering. And so it's really the union of all the things I really love and really passionate about. And it's a really big team of people that feel the same way or similar.
Redback is my whole life. I mean, all of my social networks here, all of my my uni is here. I got a job through Redback. All of these sorts of things is very, very entwined.
Good morning. So we're here with the Redback Racing team for day one of comp. So yesterday we had our bump in and we went pretty well. Had to make a small detour to pick up a few stickers and collect a few people, but everyone's safe and sound. We've slept way more than last year and we're getting ready for today. So today we have scrutineering. We got EV1 coming up for AV, A49 that is, and then we also have EV1 at 1 o'clock for E63. Hopefully, fingers crossed, we have a smooth day, and let's see how we go.
I would say there was a lot of nerves and unknowns on how well we would do, whether the car would work, things like that. It's everything, a 4 years worth of work coming together. And for me, because I've done a bunch of stuff on the car, it was a lot of stress and excitement, thinking about all the things that could go wrong, would they go wrong.
As a team, we have goals, right? We had that top 5 finish. That's what we wanted. And to keep it simple, do it right, that was our guiding star. But as an individual, I just wanted to do the best that I could for the team.
I thought the car was good. I knew it was good. I knew it was pretty fast from what we saw on track. But I also knew that with every year that we get better, everyone else is getting better. Now the question is, have we improved more than they have?
We look 10 times better than we did before, and a lot of teams come up to us and go oh, hey, your car looks great, your car looks amazing, your car looks really big.
I mean, the amount of teams that were utterly gobsmacked by how light and how strong our aero package was, given our budget, they were just astounded.
I thought we would probably I guess you could consider it like Formula One, sort of best of the rest, right? Best of the not hub motor, not carbon monocoque cars. And that's sort of where we would have been happy.
We kind of knew something special was going to happen, or I had that inkling that something special was going to happen. Not necessarily expectation of how we would perform, but that we would do our best.
We think it's a really good car, but when we show up and, there's all the New Zealand teams and stuff, it's always how good are you really?
As long as we were all having a great time and we left in high spirits, it would have been a win, yeah.
So first up on the first day, we had accumulator scrutineering, where we opened up the accumulator and showed them through the construction and materials. And
we started off bringing the RB21 accumulator in just to see how things would go. We made it through without too many hiccups, but there were 1 or 2 things that the judges just wanted clarification on, but they were pretty simple fixes. So we just went through our first accumulator scrutineering. They checked the charges, discharges, accu trolley, and the accu itself. We had a handful of issues, mostly coming down to labeling for the discharger and charges. Things like our safety equipment and tools and stuff were shared between the 2 cars, so they already passed half the scrutineering when it came to the RB23 pack. But when we brought it over, they said, oh, we're full in this area, so go to this other bay to get it scrutineered. And different judges came to look at our pack. And that's what made me nervous, was when they started asking questions that we weren't really prepared for. For the first screw, they we opened the box and they're yep, those are wires, that's all good. And then for RB23, when they looked at it, they wanted serial numbers for every single wire that we used, we provided them data sheets, and they were like, okay, but how do I know that this data sheet actually matches with the wires that are in the pack, right? And so we had to take things apart and like twist the wire. Yeah, so we've insulated the terminals to help us read it as well.
Separated, so what's the voltage and energy of each one of your little
Voltage
segment?
nominal voltage is 42 per second. 42 volts.
Yep.
So it was our first try taking RB23's accumulator through accumulator scrutineering, and we passed first try, and I just like broke down in tears of joy. I'm just like, okay, we did it. Now it's up to the rest of the team to like sort out their scrutineering as well.
Then we had EV1, which is basically the static electrical scrutineering.
I remember the night before we were gathered in the cabins and we were just going through all the paperwork, all the data sheets, and like we were stressed. We were like, where's the data sheet for this? Where's the data sheet for that? All right, someone send Haley, go get them printed, that kind of thing. So very nervous from the get-go, but I think once we actually got to EV Scrut, I think Will was the one leading. And like Will has such like an aura to him. Like he's like, yeah, I've done what I've done to my best ability. All I can do is show my work. And so he led that Scrut very confidently.
Okay, that's what I want to make sure.
I don't know what.
That was the one that I think everyone was kind of like on the edge of their seats, like just like waiting, because that's where we like didn't do so well with 21. And also we'd had shifts or we'd had hiccups in testing right before comp that meant that you're kind of not too sure what's going to go right or wrong.
We nearly got through that on first attempt. We were only stopped by waterproof covers for the tractive system measuring points. TSMP cover, a little 3D printed thing for the measuring points. That was it. That was the only thing we failed on. Earlier in the year, in like earlier revisions of the scrutineering sheets, it was specified that the normal waterproof caps that come with the points are no longer sufficient for waterproofing. And so every team went and had to, devise their own solutions and 3D print enclosures and stick sandwich tubs on there and all manner of things. So we go and do the same. We turn up and our homemade improvised solution, because it doesn't have an official IP rating, isn't good enough. And so we ask, well, what can we do? We go, oh, just put the normal caps on. Damn it. After all that, we had to go back to what we took off the car to put this thing on instead. And so that was one thing, one little check was all that stopped us from passing that on first attempt.
So we have to go through a mechanical scrutineering, so they check the mechanical parts of the car, make sure everything's rules legal, so making sure that the arrow isn't bigger than what the rules say.
You're damn right we have. So mechanical scrutineering is, as part of the technical side of the team, is probably your most stressful part of comp, because it's like, yes, endurance and all of your dynamic events are stressful if you get to them, but if you don't pass your scrutes, then there's no comp for you.
Mechanical scrutineering was a lot harder than anticipated. They were very particular this year.
Mech Scrut was interesting because there were a few things that we were pulled up on, some silly, some quite serious.
Most of it was pretty good up until we got to the aero legality boxes.
I don't know why it's so out. It doesn't make sense.
It was either a combination of the car being slightly unlevel on the surface that was on, as well as A bit of one or two oversights on our part, the aero team's part.
When we had tested all of these templates back at home, back in the workshop, everything passed. It was close, but it passed.
The front wing was too high for its legality box. Actually, most of the aerodynamic components were stretching their legality boxes. And that's a big problem because that car's not legal.
We haven't done egress, we haven't done driver head clearance.
Have we done, did they check anything?
We've done cockpit templates, SIS, all that sort of stuff.
We go all the way to the end of Mexico?
We did not go to the end of Mexico. So we still have more stuff. We ran out of time, basically. Lord almighty. Okay. We've got a lot of work to do this afternoon.
We were faced with the prospect of potentially not being able to run our aero package, and it was a very uneasy feeling.
Do we fail again?
No, just the aero.
I had to round up my aero team really quickly after we got sent out of mechanical screw at that time without a pass, and I said, okay, get the aero off, things that need to get adjusted. You cut this, we'll deal with this. And then we got everything back on the car and we got it re-scrutineered.
And so the team, they rallied together and pretty much solved that in like an hour or something like that. It was very quick.
I guess a bucket of cold water. You were feeling so good. All year we've been talking about how we're going to get through scrutineering in one go. We're going to be the first team there. We're going to, everything on the car is safe. And we still get caught out by something.
Attention Redback. All screws passed for today. Congratulations.
It was brilliant. It was so awesome. I think after we finished, we were just like yelling, cheering. It was great. Yeah, big relief off of our shoulders. Yeah.
The best part was seeing the stickers go on, because I remember last year watching Instagram stories of that and thinking, just like cheering people on from my COVID-ridden cabin, and I'm very, very happy to be here today and be able to participate in that. We also had our 21D car, our AV car, go through scrutineering today, and we went through EV1 and we made it very, very far. There were 3 things that we had to fix up, but we went back to the pits and then got back out there. We put a shit ton of zip ties on that car. It looks spectacular now, very, very clean. And then came back in, re-scruted, and we passed. So we've passed EV1 for our first autonomous car as well. So not only have we gotten an EV car through, we've gotten an AV car through EV1, which is excellent. Like, very, very, very proud.
That's it.
got nails, I don't. You also haven't bashed up your hands all day. Thank you.
So dumb.
Don't clap!
Clicking.
Alright, let's go back to the pits. Let's drop this accumulator.
We have a clapping ban, so we're only clicking because, you know, we're humble people and we don't want to jinx anything. So clicking is like a quiet, like, but you come out like, that's when we're officially like finished and done, and we've done the best that we can, and we do really well. So the clapping will come, but for now we're clicking. How do you feel?
Exhausted.
Yeah.
Exhausted. No, it was really good. I think this is something that we have never achieved before as a team in terms of getting an EV, let alone 2 EVs through scrutineering very close to the first attempt, or getting them most of the way through on first attempt and then through on re-scrutineering on the same day even. It's a far cry from last year. We've still got a lot of work on our hands, but I'm very confident the cars will be competitive. And so, yeah, we just got to get through the absolutely mad dash tomorrow, and then get through design and cost and business presentation and everything like that as well.
I remember when I went to like a university open day, a different uni, but back when I was in high school, and saw their FSAE team, I was amazed. Like, I really wanted to do that, you know, even before I got to uni. And ever since I was a little kid, I've loved cars, I've loved motorsport. That's all I've ever wanted to do. And so, yeah, when I saw that FSAE was the thing, and I wanted to go to uni, I was like, absolutely, I've got to do that.
I feel like with academics and with uni, the problems that they give you are so constrained, and there's really only 1 or 2 ways to do it. But with something like Redback, you can approach any problem however you like. You can go as crazy you want or as simple as you want, as long as it's well justified and, you know, integrates well with the rest of the team.
It's really consolidated my learning, so I can like actually see myself applying concepts that I've learned in class and like calculations and all of that. I can like actually use it in something. And I feel like if people don't join like something like Redback, they don't have that, and it's just like a massive gap in like skill and knowledge.
What Redback has become for me in my time here as a family, away from family in South Africa, it's like all of you guys here as my friends and people I can get along with and bounce ideas off of and go on motorcycle rides together with, because there's a whole bunch of motorcycle people in Redback now, and just spend nice free time and relax and get along well with a whole bunch of like-minded and completely different-minded individuals has been great. But yeah, I would definitely say Redback for me, in my time in uni, has just been a family.
Basically, the competition consists of a series of static events and a series of dynamic events. So static events, we've got the engineering design presentation, where we sort of go over all of our engineering decision making and our actual design of the car.
We also develop standardized documentation for all of our components. So every single component on the car has a full detailed document that was completed all gradually throughout the task. It goes from the requirements, the background research, conceptual design, detailed design, any analysis, and also manufacturing plans and testing plans. Bad day to have design boards. Good thing we Jesus.
We then have business presentation, where we're sort of given a specific business case to pitch the car, that sort of thing. And then cost and manufacturing event, which is really where we document all of the costing and manufacturing of the car, all the drawings, plans, all that sort of stuff, and submit that. But then we also have other scenario tasks and things like that as part of that as well. So all of those contribute to our overall score.
Business event was so good. I loved watching that.
We got asked to essentially make a business pitch on how you might be able to design a racing class to encourage more people into the racing industry.
It's about the Australians that want choice, that want to be involved. It's about the weekend racer market that wants something new.
I remember saying I needed to say something about the motorsports industry, and I completely messed it up. It was the problem statement. It was something that was so important to be said. It was supposed to be impactful and be like, wow. But I had said it wrong. And I remember thinking, oh shit, like, oh, fucked it up already. But then I continued and it went incredibly well.
And even though last year there was a slight increase in overall finances, there is a net negative overall. And this is the gap that we foresee.
For the Q&A portion, I wanted to emulate something that we did in 2022, which was sit down at the table really close to them in almost a negotiation style. So I asked, can I pull those chairs around and sit down? And the judge looks at me and he's like, okay. As if it was weird.
Fantastic. Thank you very much.
Thank
well
you.
done. Thank you. We'll take about a couple of minutes to figure out some debrief and then we'll bring you back in.
To my surprise, they kept on saying, that was a really good presentation. Whereas I didn't think so. I thought so many things went wrong.
And then we got our scores back and we absolutely smashed it. We did so well.
It was a good achievement for me as well, because I thought we did great. And it was really nice seeing us come home with a third place in business presentation.
That is the highest we've ever achieved in all of our FSAE-A career for Redback Racing. And I'm incredibly proud of myself and incredibly proud of the people that were involved.
Okay, take it slow. Hate these pit boxes so much. Three, two, one, up. Front stands in. Front stands are in. Alright, we have spanners or agadaga to get the rear wheels off. So EV2, we immediately ran into an issue where we're trying to connect over CAN to the BMS and the accumulator, and we just can't connect.
Don't see the other one.
Is this an issue that we have come across in testing? Is this something that we know how to solve, or is this something that's completely new?
Off, yep. It's never relaxing. Not high. Like, I mean, yeah, they're debugging. They don't know the issue.
So I wasn't too worried that we were going to have to do a massive change. It was just a matter of taking time and like finding exactly where the problem was. And I think at this point there was pressure, yeah.
How are you feeling?
But I also knew that it couldn't have been anything too serious. And we also have like this saying in electrics, which is like, whenever something goes wrong, it's never anything sensible. It's never like, oh, there was an absolute major design flaw in our architecture. No, it's because like there's a loose crimp or like, you know, we haven't closed this connector.
So once we pass our accumulator inspection, the lid gets sealed, and if you break the seal, you have to go back through inspection. So we were really worried that it was something inside of the accumulator, and that did stress me out a lot.
I don't feel very confident about getting through screw today. What? Are you fucking kidding me? Like, is it fixed?
Yeah.
So we go back, pull everything apart, and find that there's one bad crimp that's just come apart in the wiring in the CAN circuit. And so we fix that, car boots up, everything connects, beautiful. Yeah, so EV2 was reattempted in the pits, and so that was very nice of them. It saves us pushing the car all the way down the Calder pits. But yeah, so they came around and did that. We still had some little picky issues in that EV2 as well. Things where we did things a different way to most teams. It was still legal by the letter of the law and by the intent of the rules, but it was just different to what other teams did. And so we had to sort of argue our case. And so, yeah, we managed to get it through EV2.
You said that. Wait, let me see.
And then we went for rain test.
The rain test was the one that we were all kind of just, I think, yeah, fingers crossed, edge of your seat type of mentality, just hoping that it went okay.
No kneeling, no clapping, no being dramatic.
We're going to be stoic.
Yes.
Stoic.
Remember, gentlemen, stay pessimistic. If you never get your hopes up, you can never be disappointed. Guy Barker, 2023.
It was a really wholesome experience though, going to rain test, because like pretty much the entire team gathered around the car.
They've got like 6 sprinklers set up around the car, and it simulates rain. So you've got the car on, the water goes for 2 minutes, and then the water stops, but then the car is still on, and it has to survive for another 2 minutes without tripping any insulation faults.
Everything is as waterproofed as it could be, as covered up and as sealed, and that also relates to us in terms of the aerodynamics department, because this year we had the rear bodywork on the car.
That's exactly what sort of caught us out last year. Was we did pass the rain test, but then we had to like service something in the accumulator, and when we took it apart, I think some water must have gotten in, and then that's what like fried it, right? And so I was just like, that was probably the longest 4 minutes of that entire competition. Looking around at all these amazing people around me, the last thing I want is my pack to cause the rest of our team to go home empty-handed. And so when those final 5 seconds counted down on the judges' stopwatch, I was just absolutely elated that that light stayed bloody red.
Tim and Welton, I think, were very relieved. It's a very wholesome photo of the two of them giving each other a hug.
Oh my God! That's a car!
Let's fucking go.
And we've done certain way. So we literally just have to be race now. We're ready to go.
First try, baby. First fucking try. Light work, bro. Light work. Like how we designed it.
Did you say light work?
I was never worried about it.
It is light work. It is light work. It's too easy. It's too easy.
This is just for television. Thank you, Walter. Oh, no, that's so crooked. That's so crooked.
Oh, you took the clear coat.
Dude, the sticker was the first thing we didn't do first try.
What was that?
Dude, let's fucking go.
I'm going to use it.
Hooray! So as the sun is setting here at Calder Park, we passed our rain test. 4 out of 5 stickers. Let's go, baby. Tomorrow morning, brakes test, and then we'll be ready to rock and roll.
being in a team like this, are you really forwarding your career, or are you here for something else? And I think I haven't quite found exactly what the something else is, but it's certainly keeping me here. You know, whether it's just to build a race car, or, you know, or whether it's the social aspect of it. I think everything ties in, and you almost fall in love with engineering, with the process, you know.
People only enjoy their job or their 9 to 5 or whatever their role is if they have a really close friend or they have a community, and that's exactly what Redback is. You can't put in like all of this time and all of this this effort and energy from your life into something like as strenuous as a student project without that community. And at the end of the day, there's a mutual understanding that everyone here is here to support you, and everyone here is going through the same thing, and everyone here is also sacrificing their uni or also sacrificing their Saturdays, but for something that is so rewarding and will only come back to help.
It's definitely been tough at times, definitely been stressful and a lot of pressure, and I'm sure my own marks and a lot of the team's marks have probably suffered a little bit at times. But I'm pretty confident when the car crosses that finish line at competition, it'll all be worth it.
I think the reason that we're here is because, you know, it's more than just some mild steel tube welded together. It's got a personality, you know. I think we love it, and sometimes it loves us and sometimes it hates us.
It doesn't look like racing. It's not yeah, it's not racing.
Going through the first brake test and seeing the car slide out and not stop in a straight line, that was very scary to me, because I knew that we actually didn't have spare brake pads. I know, for a racing team, we didn't have spare brake pads. That's horrifying. And I had known that one of the brake pads may have been contaminated. We tried to clean it, but it did mean that one of the corners was braking less than the other.
Finish all the goods.
Slightly sideways, so I just let off and corrected.
I think last year it felt more special to pass scrutineering, because this year, you know, our aims were so much higher. It was almost like a relief, not because of like, oh, thank God we could do it. It was just, oh, thank God we've done it now. We've got Skidpan in a few minutes. Like, we need to go. You know, we're pushing the car straight back to the pits, putting the fresh slicks on, getting other drivers suited up, ready to go, and lining up for Skidpan.
Yeah.
There you go. 20's enough. Yeah, 20 minutes.
Our first dynamic event was Skidpan. And so our Skidpan and acceleration drivers were Blake and Jaden.
It's making a cricket better.
Turn it around. There we go.
So heading into Skidpan, there was just such a sense of nerves but excitement about what was going to happen.
I was so excited. I was standing behind the barricades. I had the perfect view. I was like, oh my god, this is gonna be fantastic.
So Skidpan is basically where you drive a figure eight. So you do 2 loops to the right and then 2 loops to the left. And the intention is to test the car's lateral cornering ability. So just pure steady state cornering. Yep, that's it. Okay, I'll hold it up. You just get on the car. Got it? Okay. See how it goes, pick a speed where you're like relatively stable, just hold it. If you want to do your starting wide and getting tighter, you're welcome to. Be a bit conservative, let's just get a time on the board. So if we get literally one dynamic event time on the board, we're already a mile better than the
We'd set some pretty good times in practice. So going into that event, we were expecting to do a little bit better than what we did.
Get the top off and then we'll roll the car forward.
It was clear how different our design philosophy was at Skidpan, and I think it got some of the team a bit worried.
We knew that compared to some teams, we were at a bit of a disadvantage. You know, we don't have torque vectoring. We've got quite a very heavy car as well. So we were at a bit of a disadvantage in that event. All right, sounds good. Keep it on the track.
Everyone in the team shared that excitement that, oh my God, we finally got a car in an event. How cool is this?
I do remember thinking like, okay, like just let's temper our expectations. We don't know how the car will perform. It's okay.
I was very worried about Skidpan with regard to like the BMS tripping that we had done early in the year. I felt that if we could just get through Skidpan, then the other events should be like smooth sailing, except maybe endurance.
Yeah, my heart stopped a little bit in that moment.
For a split second, it was like, oh no, not again. The car's broken down the first time, it's hit the track, not again.
I remember thinking like, shit, is this a repeat of 2022? Because throughout the entire year, that was my worst nightmare, is would we get to comp and stop on track in a dynamic event?
It was a bit of a surprise because Blake's a really good driver. Whether it was his mistake or something happened in the car, I'm not entirely sure.
I remember seeing very clearly like the T-cell is still flashing red. So I knew that there was nothing wrong electrically.
I think in FSAE we think or we hope that everything will go perfectly, our drivers won't hit any cones or our car will always run consistently. And I think we sometimes forget the fact that this was built in a year by students that are studying full time.
First driver, their main job is just to warm up the tyres, get them scrubbed in, get them prepared for the second driver. It's the one that's there to set the lap times. Because of a shutdown circuit issue in the first run, we had to abort that run, which meant that we had half the tyre preparation running that we needed to have. And so by the time the second driver goes out, the tyres are still a bit glossy, they're still not fully worn in. And so that definitely didn't help.
Yeah. I want to like punch it and just like fucking spin out like
So we came 7th. I thought that was okay. I think a lot of other people were disappointed because of the times we had seen in our own testing.
We ended up not really performing as well as we wanted to. We're about half a second off the pace.
I think for the track we have today, I think as hard as I could push it.
It just shows that maybe we need more testing and to give drivers more time.
We knew that this also wouldn't be our strongest event. Like Skidpan was not the one that we were like setting the car up for, sort of thing.
At the very least, the car worked. And I think that was the silver lining on top.
One and done, let's continue onto acceleration. Waka waka. Waka.
How's it going?
See that the pattern from the side wing is followed up through the rear wing very, very tidily. Whoever's done the design of that really should be applauded. That's a very neat car. Yeah, livery is excellent.
Yes. Oh my god.
Here we have our resident tire changer. Currently, he is the only person on the team that understands what any of this does. So he's giving us a lecture here.
Do it again.
Thanks.
I was excited for it. I was very, very excited to see the car do an acceleration run against other teams.
This was actually the event that we anticipated being the weakest at. At least I was expecting us to be, because we're competing against all-wheel drive teams, we're competing against teams that are substantially lighter than us, we're competing against teams that have had years in the EV game, and so they've got their launch control and their active systems.
Theoretically, we were at a disadvantage because everyone had, lighter cars. UCM had turned up with a car that supposedly weighed 170 kilos, 100 kilos less than us. I don't know how they did it.
So a lot of the big teams run hub motors, and that's essentially a motor on each wheel. And what Redback runs is a single MRAX at the rear. So rear-wheel drive, single motor to a diff. So we're running rear-wheel drive. A lot of the big teams are running all-wheel drive. And the really big advantage with all-wheel drive is you just have so much more off-the-line performance.
I don't know, they probably have launch control, traction control, all of the wizardry. And we had a good right foot, I would say. I knew that we wouldn't be immediately the fastest in acceleration, but we did better than we thought we would.
The car was fast. It was ridiculously fast. Comfortably the fastest rear-wheel drive car there. And, not too far off the all-wheel drive cars either.
One of the great things about FSAE is that somehow everyone ends up on a similar level playing field. I don't know how. Everyone has different cars. 80 to 100 kilograms difference in weight, completely different design philosophy, completely different technologies from completely, different countries. And somehow we were within tenths of each other. And when you see that on TV in F1 and you're like, oh, a tenth, that's so close, that's so exciting. And to have that happen to your own car, that's very exciting.
We set a 4.14, which is a team record by a landslide.
A lot of the cars that beat us, or I think all of the cars that beat us, were running hub motors, and also some of them carbon monocoques. So lighter, faster, more power they can pull.
I remember we got some comments at the very start of the competition going, your aero package is too big, is it even doing anything? I assume people thought it was really draggy. And then you come fourth in acceleration and everyone's going, what's going on here?
I think to be the fastest rear-wheel drive car at FSAE-Australasia in acceleration is a pretty good win. Pretty good. I'll take fourth if I must.
We were up there. We were doing really great. And going from seventh in Skidpan to a fourth in acceleration, this is this crazy trajectory that goes up, and you wonder, hey, are we going to, come more than fifth?
Redback's been kind of synonymous with uni for me. I joined in my first year, so I kind of only know uni almost from the lens of this team.
Redback Racing is a motorsports team. You don't need to be an engineer. Quite frankly, even if you want to do engineering work, you don't need to be an engineer. We take anybody from any single degree that has any single interest, and if you're keen to learn, we'll take you.
With my studies, I'm completely unrelated to pretty much everything in Redback. And I think that's something really cool about Redback is you can pretty much be studying anything and still have a place in the team if you really want it.
I've always been slightly competitive. I think that's faded a little bit more now. I think my competitive nature has changed to a nature that wants to get it right. But I think inherently most people who are competitive want to get things right.
Just fun, lots of lessons, lots of support, lots of tears, some blood, but a lot of time it takes. Many people in our team underload their degrees just to do Formula Student.
I think the people you meet here are like, there's a lot of very intelligent, funny, good-looking people in Redback.
Autocross is a little bit scary.
All the emotions were, really high up there.
Cautiously nervous, but at the same time, incredibly excited.
The realization of like the competitiveness didn't really sink in until Autocross. I think Autocross was where I was like, holy crap, can we please just perform? Can we please just perform?
Comp becomes a really excellent final point where you just acknowledge, okay, we have been through the ringer this year and we've put in through so much effort and so much time, and it's a little comment from someone to be like, oh, that looks like a race car, where every decision, every like hurdle or speed bump that's happened is just worth it, because you're proud of what you've put forward, and that's what Autocross was.
Autocross is where car meets driver, and that's all you've got.
So Autocross is more or less qualifying for endurance. So each driver gets 2 laps each. So 2 drivers get 2 laps each to set the fastest lap time around the circuit.
Before competition, we only had one track day where the car didn't have an issue while running on track. So we didn't really know what to expect, to be honest.
I felt going in that we would be able to achieve our top 5 targets in at least Autocross and endurance if we finished.
It was us setting some really, really fast and competitive times, and people being like, okay, Redback, interesting, fast.
Going into Autocross, it was me up first. We got onto the practice track to try and scrub in the tyres as much as possible. We realised from Skidpan that going out on brand new fresh tyres is not the most ideal thing to do, because obviously you've got to burn off that coating that they put on the tyres and scrub them in to get them gripped up. So we went onto the practice track and tried to scrub them in as best as we could, and then it was straight out into Autocross.
Hey guys. Yep. So you missed your time slot, so you're going to go behind these guys now. One of the large batteries they may have.
I'm covering our arrow. I'm helping.
I deliberately let a lot of teams go in front of us because the track was coming up in temperature. And if you're at the end, you can go faster. Like, you don't have to wait for as many teams to cycle through. So it's just, oh, sure, go ahead. Jump in line, I don't mind. We don't have places to be. Taking track temps every few minutes to see how it's going.
acceleration start line was yesterday?
Sure. Yes. On the line? Yeah. Okay, sweet. Feel free to turn it down. Do whatever feels right.
And then on the straights.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the point of the paddles, is like around the twisty stuff you can turn it down for a bit better sensitivity.
I think it'll be.
It was really, really rewarding to watch those two drivers in the car as well, because you know the effort that's gone behind that, and then just the skill behind what they're doing as well in terms of managing the limits and expectations or capabilities of the vehicle.
Julio and Zach, I had a lot of faith in them. I'd seen them drive, I knew how mature they were, and I knew that they would smash it.
That's where I felt the nerves, because I was going up first onto the... seeing it sort of blind from a car's perspective for the first time on fresh tyres. And so, yeah, I treated that first autocross lap as, okay, let's just go out and learn the track and then use the second one to sort of better my time.
I think we're getting like okay times, right? And I was like, okay, that's cool. Like our car's running. So, you know, like at least it's running. You know, this is like already an infinity% better than last year.
The line of commentary that I'll remember forever is when they cut back to the car and they go, oh, have you driven a few FSAE cars in the past? The other commentator goes, yeah, I have, but I love to drive this one. This one looks like a ripper. And I was like, oh, at that point, I just felt so proud and so happy.
I used my runs, obviously, to put in a good time to make sure that if something does happen where Zach can't get out, we're in somewhat good standings, but I knew that I was going into it to prep him and get as much information and data as possible.
And then it's Zach's turn.
Yeah, that first lap, I just went out, sort of gauged how the car was feeling, how much grip I had. Obviously, I'd done a bit of study the night before on the track layout, so I had tried to learn it as best I could. I pretty much had a good idea of what the layout was going to be like. So the first lap, I just sort of pushed maybe like 80%, 80, 90% of what the car could do, because I'm going out there with pretty much no reference on what the car's going to feel like or what to expect, really. So the first lap's just about feeling your way through it, getting all those references in your mind for the second lap. So that second lap's as quick as it can be, really.
Thankfully, because we were right at the end of the session as well, this is where like that little bit of luck that we made for ourselves comes in, because Zach can cycle straight from his first lap straight into his second one. So the tyres are still warm, the track temperature's hot, it's good, everything's pretty good. Great, it's a PID problem. All right, do you want to pull that out? I'll dust tyres.
So I think the instructions I got from Guy were just send it. So go as fast as you can, don't hit a cone.
All right. Battery. Yeah.
What I didn't expect was that insane last lap by Zach at the end.
Well, the driver is pushing this now. This is looking fast. They're sitting at a 138.7, but if the driver keeps this up, this is going to be a very competitive time.
And so Zach knew, okay, I've got all of this space here to make up this time. I know what this car can do, and he just pushed it as hard as he could, and he extracted every ounce of performance out of that car.
And he pulls out the most phenomenal lap I've seen in FSAE.
It was just a treasure to watch, honestly. Like, I have nothing but good memories.
When I watch recordings of that lap again, like, I'm just like, this guy is going fast. Oh, I knew that he was going for it, and I knew it was going to be a fast one.
Up the hill, out of side of us.
He looks a lot faster.
I have no idea where he found that speed or where he got it from.
Honestly, it didn't feel that much different to the first one. I thought, oh, you know, there's maybe like 1 or 2 second improvement here. And then I got across the line and then just everyone went crazy and I was like, oh, maybe it was a bit better than what I expected.
And it's an excellent run. It's a 132.5. Wow. Excellent run.
What's the time? Holy shit! Holy shit!
Fire up, lads! Let's go!
Yes, son! Get in there! You brilliant man! Come on!
Monash back
Fucking
down.
weapon.
Yes, that has moved them into 3rd place in the EV and 4th place overall. Excellent run from University of New South Wales, and even from this distance you can hear them cheering, Phil.
Yeah, when Blake told me over the radio the time I actually done, I couldn't believe what he said. You know, 6 seconds improvement on that first lap was crazy.
Yeah, like, man, I'm actually like speechless just thinking about it. He like absolutely blitzed it.
We came 3rd, didn't we? Yeah. That was crazy.
Gets us on the podium in a car that has almost no right being there. Like, it's a very good car, don't get me wrong, but like, we were just, that was amazing. No one could have picked that at the start of the year.
How the fuck did we build a car this fast? And how the fuck was he able to drive it that fast?
I think it was like my highlight of comp for sure, yeah.
To know that we have a competitive car, like that felt so good. And so coming across the finish line and Zach doing really, really well, you're just overcome with emotion.
I don't know where they were keeping that one, but that's taking home some silverware. Great job. What is it they say? It's not over till it's over.
I want to say it's a miracle, but you know, I know Zach is a fantastic driver. And I think part of that is just like how good he is behind the wheel.
I was just glad that everyone's efforts through the year could properly be rewarded. You know, that's the whole reason I'm there, to try and get the most out of the car and to try and get the best result.
It was very rewarding when we turned around at the end of it and realised like who we'd beaten. You know, we'd pipped the big player Monash just on outright pace too. Like, it's one thing to pip them on consistency or on finishing, but to actually be faster over a 1-lap sprint was an amazing feeling to know that, because I think I said to the team, you know, good heavens, we've built ourselves a race car.
We have a race car. Lord heavens, we've got ourselves a race car! Goddamn. Oh, now I call that punching above your weight class. Holy crap.
Woo! Light fucking work, man. Light fucking work. Oh. Keep it simple, do it right.
Go for it, go for it, go for it.
Yeah, it was pretty good. 3rd, crazy.
Didn't think we'd be doing this 12 months ago. We do so much with what we've got already. You know, we've taken what is a very small amount of resources and delivered above and beyond. And not just in the car, but we deliver above and beyond everywhere else as well. You know, the team runs really well. We provide a great opportunity to all of these engineers, and you know, when you're fighting constraints like that, it makes you a better engineer, it makes you a better business person, it makes you a better media person. Like we've, in so many different categories, we have over-delivered on what we've got. Yeah, we'll see how we go later this Arvo. It's hard because we've never run a full endurance.
It was clear that we've done something magical on a space frame, rear-wheel drive car going up against carbon monocoque, hub motor teams.
Yeah, we noticed some of the teams that at the start of the competition thought we were just a bunch of happy-go-lucky engineering students that were just here to have a good time and not really compete, sort of changed their tune pretty quick. They realised that, oh, they're actually a threat.
We rustled some feathers, maybe got some teams kind of worried. And I really think that Autocross was that big defining factor of, hey, Redback's here to win.
I remember seeing a lot more hustle around the car from other teams after Autocross than before. You know, we noticed a lot of other teams and a lot of faculty advisors and scrutineers and things like that hanging around the pits and taking photos of the car and having a good look, just sort of wondering like what on earth have we done? Like what sort of fairy dust have we sprinkled in there?
There is so much effort that goes into getting an FSAE car built, and then getting an FSAE car that performs well is an even bigger feat, and literally anything under the sun can go wrong. So just because you've beat one team or one car in one event doesn't mean you're guaranteed to beat them again in another one.
Don't go full tight, right? We don't go full tight, right? Did that go full tight?
It's not like 1 second.
Angelo, do you have a radio?
This is all of the shit that you accumulate when you're standing trackside. And then a ton of volts. And then sniffs.
Quietly confident.
Just talking about the power spikes. I'm shitting my dack.
Yeah.
Typically only a very, very small percentage, and we're talking less than like half, sometimes even just a quarter of the entire field actually finish that event.
This time, like, my confidence from whatever we had from Autocross, like, that was gone. That was replaced with, like, a bit of dread, a lot of anxiety, because the thing that kept popping up in my mind was the thermals of the Accu. We've had so many problems with, like, the actual board that was meant to read the temperatures.
We had no idea what to limit the power to finish endurance, because we'd never tried to do it before. You know, we'd done long running, but we'd only done long running at full power, at full beans, as we would say. And so we had like an idea of how long we can last at full 230 Newton meters, but we had no idea how long we'd last at 180 or 130. Is the screen coming on? No, it's not. Go tell someone, get the performance engineering box, and you just stay plugged in at the data station.
No, because I can hear like music, but it's like when you're on like a radio channel that's like really far away.
What the fuck?
The decision was I would go first, just set out some good lap times, and then Julio would just bring it home, because we wanted to make the most of the performance of the car while we had it at the start.
Most cars do not finish the endurance event at all. And that's why I say, like, it didn't matter what we placed, it just mattered that we crossed the line, because that in and of itself is a massive achievement.
Left hand down? Yeah. Watch out, watch out. I felt we would do well. I always had those pipe dreams, like where you would be lying in bed at night, one night or something, listening to some relaxing music, and then you have that thought pop into your head. It's like, wow, we've put so much effort into this car and it looks absolutely fantastic. I mean, there is still that chance that we could, I don't know, win it. And I would, every time I had those thoughts, it was like maybe 2 or 3 times in the lead up to comp, I would like put myself down and say, no, be realistic, come on.
Walk switch, Mitch, walk switch. Yep.
And for us to then compare to 2022 when we went on to endurance, everyone's extremely excited seeing the car take a turn and stop. And that question and that image and that moment will, I guess, be burnt in a lot of people's heads going into 2023 as well, and thinking, what if we take a turn and the car stops?
I was pretty calm. Going into it, we didn't have a lot of expectations of what we would do or how we would do.
We weren't going to have the easiest of times, but then again, no FSAE team ever does. It's called endurance for a reason.
Do you want us to go HV on or whenever you guys are ready? Yep. If you're close to letting us go, yeah. All right, brake and RTD. All right, brake and RTD again. Bring her home.
UNSW Sydney is about to enter the track.
Obviously, I had to manage the tyres a little bit. You're not just going to go out and send it 100% at the start because the tyres will start to fade. So I was just managing my pace throughout. I think I was targeting 1 minute 40 lap times.
Wait until I come over to the rest of it. So yeah.
The car was running strong, Zach was running strong. Our suspension, our aero, our brakes, our tyres, they were all working well as a system.
I think it shocked everyone when we got out there and they saw our performance. They were all like, ooh, wow, they mean business.
My role was just to monitor the thermals. That's all I had to do. I just had to stay there and I had to decide when to slow down or just pull back altogether, because we just kept seeing the thermals creep higher and higher, and our cutoff is 60 degrees.
Patrick goes up a couple degrees, all right, rein it back, plus 5 seconds, just try and baby it home, nurse it home. But we're still trying to keep pace.
Auckland had their incident just before I got in the car. So that was a bit of that was an interesting one for me, because obviously Auckland is the top team. They came first in 2022 last year. And so they were the team to beat, and they were the leaders in almost all of the events leading up to endurance.
When we were watching endurance and those big teams started to bow out, and even smaller teams that had shown great pace started to slow down or started to have issues, and we started to see ourselves,
I guess, rising up the ladder, that was quite surreal. It's all right, the rear wing's covering it anyway. It's all right, we've got 3 minutes. He's got his own. You can just jump.
You need to be easy on the throttle and just carry the speed around and that'll be fine.
It did feel really good, and yeah, when I jumped out of the car, he asked how it felt, and I'm like, it feels really good. Go out there, smash it.
That's sort of when I felt my heart pounding in my throat a bit, was getting the belts done up, and Guy like talking you through and saying, okay, this is it, get it home.
Turn left, turn left. All right.
I don't think so, no. We're just pedaling it home, so. Bring it home. Go easy, easy, easy.
Why is it doing that all the time?
And yeah, so then it was out onto track, and basically all of the mental preparation that I had done and all of the things I told myself to make sure I did went completely out of the window. And I had an absolute mind blank, and I turned wrong into one of the cones. So that was one of the misgates that I had. Just went like completely flustered in terms of that. I was like, well, that's when the nerves hit me. And then I realized, okay, Julio, just relax, just take it nice and easy. We knew going into endurance that our biggest blocker in terms of performance would be the temperature of the accumulator.
If the accumulator or the battery reaches 60 degrees, we get DQ'd. So this is something that we don't want to do.
But I think very quickly the numbers rose up to the 50s, and I was like, crap, I did not expect it to go up that quickly.
When shall I start the time to run back? 50? Okay, I'll hit 90. Just, we'll tell you when. Okay.
Watching the live telem on the temperatures in the car and going, oh no, is he going to make it home or not? I think that was even worse than before, sitting in the car and waiting to go. So
it didn't help as well that our race radios couldn't reach to the other side of the track because they'd been spec'd for winter, not for colder. And so, you know, these little things, like, it's just a whole lot of tension building up.
I couldn't hear Blake for 3/4 of the lap. So I remember, I think it was on my 3rd or 4th lap, Blake came over the radio and crackled, and it was like something accelerator, something hot. And I remember I pushed the talk, and I said, please say again, can I use accelerator? And he was like, oh, and it crackled again, and I didn't say. So I remember I did a lap, and then I went past him again, and the only thing I said to him, I pushed the button and I said, accelerator, yes, no. So Blake said, yes, you can go. And so I absolutely pummeled my foot down that first straight on the track and did an absolute flyer. And then I got down to the bottom half of the track where there's absolutely no radio connectivity, and I had the AccuTwo hot warning pop up on the driver display, which was, again, along with live telem, would probably be the second most invaluable thing.
The driver display is set up to warn the driver, blinking red, flashing on the screen, when it gets to 55 degrees.
And so when that message popped up saying accumulator temp too high, I realized, okay, I may have gotten the wrong response, or I may have misinterpreted the response I got over the radio in using throttle. And I realized, okay, now AccuTemp was at 57 degrees, maximum 60, if I remember correctly. And so that was the point where I was like, okay, time to cool down the car. And I absolutely just slowed down. I used like no throttle. And then I said to Blake, listen, the car's getting hot. And he said, yeah, we know, no throttle.
DAC traditionally is like just a take the piss department, right? But we actually did do like, I think we made something that people found was very critical and useful.
The fact that we had live telemetry and driver display, those 2 points, I would say, were completely invaluable.
The tension I felt for the last, for the whole of endurance, the tension I felt was ridiculous. But the last few laps, I remember watching, and every time the car would get to the really tight slalom, I almost looked like it was dying, like it would slow right down between the cones, because the offset slaloms were a horrific thing. The car would slow right down, and you go, oh no, has it stopped? Like, has he lost power? Why is it so slow? Oh God. And then you realize, oh, he's in the tight cones, and he comes around the hairpin and accelerates just like normal. It's like, okay. Thank God.
It almost looks like Jules is taking it out for a Sunday drive. He's just like, going around the cones really slowly, really gently.
I don't think a lot of us realised how close we were, except for Julio in the car. I think he was the only one that could tell how close it was to not actually making it.
Has he said to Blake why it slowed down so much? Or is he just nursing it?
All I saw was the car driving slower and slower and slower, and I was like, oh my God, are we being delimited at the moment? Have we started to run out of juice? What is going on?
That entire time, I was just so nervous. I had my fingers crossed, my toes crossed. I was just like, please just don't hit 60. Jules, just take it home.
Those were some stressful laps. Those laps felt like they took half an hour each, not a minute and a half each. We need active cooling. This is terrifying.
You cannot use full throttle, mate. You cannot use full throttle on the straights. You cannot.
As it kept going, and the closer we got to the end, it was like, okay, we're almost there. We've made it this far. We can get there.
There has to be some cruel twist of fate waiting around the corner. Let's not count our chickens before they hatch. Let's keep the nerves down. Don't get too excited, because you never know when things could take a turn.
If it was slowly ramping up.
Wait, has Monash stopped? Oh shit. What? Alright, Monash are out. Monash are out.
I told you that already.
What happened? Their car just stopped.
They were coming out of their pit stop and then made it past a few of the chicanes, and then suddenly the light turned from red to green.
He's got 2 minutes to restart it. He's out of the car. He's out of the car. Holy shit. Then we see the big teams bow out. We see first Auckland and then Monash.
In a situation like that, we know all too well back in 2022, if something's wrong with the car, you can't fix it. Even if it means you just need to run out there with your laptop and plug it in for 10 seconds, you're not allowed to do that in endurance. And as soon as that light turned green, we were all just like, the entire crowd just went silent. We're all just like, what the hell just happened?
Whatever happens, it's never solely anyone's fault. It's always a team effort. And so, I mean, there is always that pressure on the driver, at least the pressure that they put on themselves, that if anything does happen, that they would beat themselves up over it. So there was a bit of that perspective from me, and I think any driver would have the same thing of you've got quite a bit of weight, and those hopes and dreams that at least Aero talks about of the team weighing down on you.
With them out of the picture, we may not get a win, we may not get a podium, but it makes our top 5 a lot easier.
I was like, oh, okay, we might be in with a shot of a decent result here. It just kept building and building, like, oh wow, we're doing better and better and better.
Whether it was for fun or like they actually meant it. Some people start saying like, send it, just speed it now. I was one of those people, but
I knew then, even before he told me to just bring it home.
We'd been setting such a good pace for the first 3/4 of the race that we could afford to back it right off and just nurse it.
You bet I'm nursing this thing home.
Come on, Julio.
Bring it home,
Where
baby.
is he? Where is he?
Is it him? That's not him, that's Swinburne.
No, that's Swinburne.
Come on, guys. The other red car, come on.
The individual driving the car is so passionate and has put so much effort into that vehicle this year that I had no doubt in their ability to bring it home at all.
None of us even really noticed. None of us really comprehended that he'd been shown the last lap flag until like half a lap in.
All right, mate, final lap. Bring it home, mate, bring it home.
All right, let's go, Jeff. Let's go.
Turning left instead of right was something I had to remind myself. I was like, okay, don't go back around. You've got to go into the pit lane.
We just wanted the car to cross that finish line because it's a whole thing with FSAE. If you pass the finish line of endurance, you've got a good car.
You never want to make the mistake of celebrating at like that last hairpin or before you've crossed that line.
Crossing that finish line, I immediately burst into tears. Immediately.
And then you see it cross the finish line and you just lose it. Everyone loses their mind. Everyone just starts screaming, really.
I remember the commentator saying when Julia crossed the line that, you'd never see, outside of FSAE, you'd never see a team cheering like that for a driver to cross the line 20 seconds below the pace.
Yeah, that moment, it's something that will probably stay with me for the rest of my life, yeah. Coming across that line and just hearing the entire team erupt.
And all the other teams around us just started cheering as well. I think Monash was next to us and they'd given up as well and they all just started cheering as well. It was such a miracle.
It felt so overwhelming and it felt like such a stress relief. Like we were done. We had physically done everything that we could.
Yeah, when he actually crossed the line, that was the most, I don't know, it was just a feeling that I couldn't really describe. It was pretty powerful. It was just wow. How the hell did we do that?
I just kind of knew, dude, I just kind of knew it would be okay.
Being a driver in those cars, especially for like autocross or endurance, is an incredible privilege. It's not why I'm on the team anyway. It's like my primary focus on the team was the aerodynamics package and obviously the performance of the team as a whole. And so in that moment, it was just that complete joy for obviously what I had achieved, what my aero team had achieved, and what the team had achieved.
After more than a year of dreaming about this moment, it sort of just washed away straight away. We're just like, we fucking did it. We absolutely fucking did it. And I think I started crying a bit there as well.
I don't think anything can beat the feeling of Julia driving that car back into the entrance.
Like, it was the best feeling in the world. The absolute best feeling in the world.
We didn't stand still, baby. Never stand still. Fucking work, baby. The control arms didn't fail.
It's just too easy.
800. Good boys. Oh my god. Light work. Just like how we designed it. You can make it better. Do it again.
We did well.
Yes. And then I remember sitting in that car when we were wheeling it to Parc Ferme, and the amount of teams that then clapped us off at the end of it was something I'll appreciate to this day. Like the community that you have not only within Redback, but the community that you have within FSAE as a whole. It's like every student in FSAE knows that you're just here to build a car that finishes endurance.
All year there's bits of self-doubt that creep in, and the little issues that come up or the little setbacks, and you sort of start to no matter how good you are or no matter how prepared you are, everyone feels that degree of self-doubt or that degree of this is too good to be true.
That car finishing endurance, or any car, whatever car that you're building finishing endurance, is far more emotional and far more rewarding than whatever your result is in comp. Because that's what tells you as an engineer, you as a teammate, as anyone in the team, from a business side, from a media side, that just tells you that all of the effort, the hours and hours and hours of time and sacrifice that you've put into this car, or you've put into like the team's performance throughout the year, has all been worth it.
There's some sort of feeling from the end of 2022 that we're better than this. This is not the true us. We will show you that we are better than this. And we did.
It wasn't over yet, we still had to go through Parc Ferme and scrutineering and things like that, and wait for penalties and other teams to run. And so while everyone else in the team is like celebrating so over the moon, and like I celebrated a little bit at first, but then I was like, okay, breathe, it's not over till the fat lady sings.
We may have lost a couple of cells on the way, both brain and battery, but you know what? It was worth it.
We got there in the end.
We did it.
Regardless of the final score, that's a pretty massive turnaround. In 1 year to go from not even finishing one corner of endurance after 2 years of building a car to now build a car in 10 months and then compete in and finish every dynamic event and perform well in every dynamic event and beat our previous bests in all of the static events. Oh my God.
I remember we were one of the first couple of teams to sit down, because I think all of us were just a bit excited to just hear the result.
Pretty excited, but we'll see. It's not over till the fat lady sings, so we'll see. I'm not going to count my chickens until they hatch. We'll see how we go. I've become very superstitious this year. I'm not jinxing it. I'm not jinxing it.
To the awards ceremony for the 2023 edition of Formula FSAE-Australasia.
We were all sat there, everyone's excited. Other teams are getting their Their trophies, all the special trophies as well for like best design, best most improved.
In third place, we have UNSW. Second place is University of Newcastle, and first place is Monash University. So in the E-Group class, third place goes to University of New South Wales, Sydney. Second place is University of Newcastle, and first place is University of Auckland.
Every time our name was called just felt like exhilarating. It felt so good.
Thank you so much.
As it progressed and it got to EV overall, which is the one that like I was looking forward to the most, I guess. I thought that we would come third.
In third place, and again with the whole team up, we have University of Queensland.
And so when they called out third place and it wasn't us, my like gut dropped. I was like, oh my god, like have we come fourth? Like I genuinely thought we had a podium on our hands, and that's what everyone's saying. Like you're hoping for it, right?
After they announced third, I was like, oh, we're out of the competition, guys. We didn't get it.
I hate to say I'm a bit of a pessimist, but my first thought was, shit, we probably came fourth.
I was disappointed when I heard that we weren't third. That's because I thought we would be third.
When UQ was announced as third, I was like, oh shit, we came fourth. Oh well, what can we do? I was very happy with fourth, to be completely honest with you.
In the second place, for the category overall winners, 2023 FSAE-A Competition, it's a university. It's a University of New South Wales.
Really announced second, and I was like, what the fuck? And everyone all caught up and cheered. Yeah.
Third in business presentation, third in autocross, second in endurance, and second overall.
It just felt surreal. Like we had done so well. We had far exceeded any and all of our expectations.
Not a bad haul. Not a bad haul. Not at all. 14th to second in 1 year. I'll take it. I'll take it.
Can I touch it? Which is the first time in our Redback careers, which is pretty crazy. I'm on a high. We're on a high. This is now. This is Redback.
Yes,
There was a lot of hard shit this year, and so bringing it home and coming second, that was very nice.
Yeah, I love a good underdog story. Hell, I go for Williams, so this is perfect. This feels good. This feels very good. I've got to say. Now we just got to do it again.
A holiday for a couple of days, and it'll be back to business. Getting ready for RB24 hybrid EVAB. Next year we bring it to a new level.
That I could not have told you we were going to do that 12 months ago. We have no right whatsoever doing that. Oh my God. Because we're badass. That's why, Haley. Because we're badass.
3, 2, 1.
We are the top team in Australia.
Oh my gosh, where was the first place from?
New Zealand. We went from 14th to 2nd in 1 year. Not a bad effort.
Okay, let's roll it in. Off the front.
I honestly felt a little bit of an emptiness afterwards, being like, this competition's over, I guess. Like, it's time to go home.
That's it. Fucking did it, baby.
To get home and not have anything to do, especially in terms of Redback, the car's done, it's holidays, we don't have access to lab anymore. I was completely lost. I just lay on my bed and I wrote a post to my area team just thanking them. It was sort of my like sign off as lead for the year. And I remember in that post saying, it's like, I'm like completely lost, have nothing to do, but I guess plan for next year.
What actually struck me as very surprising to even myself as well is by the time the whole thing had finished, I didn't care about the second. I thought it would mean more to me and I would be more happy about the second than I actually was. But what I realized was my priorities in this team have changed.
You couldn't do that. I don't think there is any way that Redback would be as enjoyable if it weren't for the people involved. It is seriously the members and it's the people that make this team. And I wouldn't be here without them, regardless of role, regardless of what we do. Without the people, you don't have Redback.
I went from wanting to do something cool to fulfilling a responsibility and helping out the team to my purpose in the team now, which is to bring this opportunity to other people. And see them grow is the final reward.
We've gotten to where we are now, you know, on the smell of an oily rag. And we've done so much in the background, because remember, like, the competition is only 4 days out of 365. And the other 361 days, we've done an incredible job. The team has been absolutely amazing and has done so much. Like, the difference between the team now and, you know, when I joined the team 5 years ago is like chalk and cheese. And we're easily one of the strongest groups of students at this university or any university, I think.
We could do with more funding, we could do with better facilities, we could do with more investment into, you know, hub motors, carbon monocoque, and all these fancy technologies, mode decoupled suspension, you know, things that still seem out of reach, unfortunately, due to our circumstances.
I think it would be nice to have more support. Obviously, the financial conditions of the university at the moment and just indeed what's going on in Australia is tough. But yeah, I think it's a really good experience for the students, right? I mean, compared to just sitting in a classroom doing theory, you know, I see the Redback Racing folk are much better engineers than just the average person who hasn't done that kind of thing, right?
Running one of the smallest budgets in Australia, probably the smallest budgets internationally, on a team that's one of the bigger ones, it goes to show, you know, like how much of a talent-rich, I guess, it's just like student project we have.
The difference between us and the teams that we were vying for the win with is immense. You know, we were there against teams that have built EVs for years and years and years and years and have won before or gotten very close to it multiple times before. And so we were well out of our weight class, I think.
Yes, I was team lead and Guy was technical director, Haley was business director, Anthony was treasurer. We had all of our, we all held our executive roles, right? As soon as comp's done, that's when the handover is, and you officially are no longer that title. And so that felt weird as well, to know like, okay, my journey in this role is over.
You guys have done something absolutely spectacular. We have gone from a position of being 14th out of like 30 cars last year to being second. And not only that, we're the top EV FSAE car in Australia because Canterbury is from New Zealand. To try and put it quickly, because I could stand here and speak for hours about how amazing this year has been and how amazing this competition has been. It's just such a wonderful end to a year of very, very hard work from every single one of us. It has been an absolute pleasure leading you and working alongside you and getting to where we are today. Seriously, like every single scrutineer and every single judge that we spoke to or saw us as a team were absolutely floored by the progress and the hard work that has gone into this year. And you know what? There are fucking epic things on the horizon. And let me just say, in like 2, 3, 5, 10 years time, you'll look back and people will look back at 2023 as a fucking epic year.
It was just such an underdog story. And yeah, I think to be able to be a part of that team that pulled off like the great heist away from all the big teams, yeah, that's definitely an achievement.
I remember I was like sitting on my veranda and I was just like looking up at the sky, and I think I just started crying because like I was just so proud of like myself, because I had never like imagined doing something like this before.
If I think about it too much, I'll probably cry, because I'm just so passionate about this team and I'm so passionate about the individuals behind it. And I just think that we have such a special opportunity here to grow and push ourselves. Like who I am when I joined this team is so different to who I am now.
To turn up there with a single motor rear-wheel drive car with a mild steel frame, carbon that's been taken out of a shipping container from 2017, rims we've been recycling from 2019, tyres that were in a shipping container since 2019, you know, shocks from mountain bikes that we could only afford because we got 60% off them. You know, that to rock up with that kind of stuff, put together a really quick car and a really good team, and then, you know, hang with the big boys, so to speak, that was pretty special. I think it's a pretty good reflection on this team. Just almost felt too good to be true.
savor the moment, savor the moment. It's bittersweet. I wanna feel the song.